Alright, what's up YouTubers, gunners, subscribers? We are back with the K24 all-wheel drive build. Been kind of just working on the car off camera. Last year I did a lot of work to the car, and I was mostly trying to work and videotape myself so I can show every single thing I was doing. So this time around I was trying to focus on my work a little bit more and just try to get a little bit more clean and detailed as far as parts. So I'll be showing you guys what I did with fuel and our all-wheel drive setup. Alright guys, so we're gonna start with the three major components, or may I say four, that we did with our fuel system. So what we did here was we went with all AEM products. This is gonna be our main filter. This is gonna be our external fuel pump, and I'm showing you guys the part numbers here. And this is gonna be our pressure regulator. Now I did keep some of the part numbers on the parts we used as far as fittings, fuel rail, lines, our fuel cell, and all the little parts you need for your fuel cell. So I'll be explaining. Now this time around we did go with a fuel rail. This is gonna be the Skunk 2 fuel rail we went with, and I'll show you guys really quick how I did this. So there's our fuel rail, and then we got our RDX injectors. And because I know we have a bunch of new followers, my YouTube channel has been growing, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Really appreciate Ghost Boy Aki for all the support. There's a few other people that have supported me a lot, like Tri-State Motorsports, Action Clutch, and maybe a few other companies that I'm missing, but been getting a lot of support, and I appreciate all those people. So for all the new guys following this build, here is the part number for the OEM RDX injectors. I tell guys all the time, make sure that you guys are getting OEM parts. There's a lot of replica fuel injectors being made, so make sure you get it in this Honda box, and then it has to come in the pink wrapper, or you don't have a true RDX injector. I cut my lines, did all my fittings, and ran everything how I wanted it. So I'll be showing you guys a little bit. I did go ahead and use a Teflon fuel line, and I'll show you guys the difference from a Teflon line and a just regular fuel line. If I could set this tripod down. Okay, so here is going to be our last fuel line that we are going to be installing. This is for our return on our fuel pressure regulator. So the difference in a Teflon line is you guys can see that white plastic line, and this line is actually ready for any type of E85, any type of race fuel, just anything that is gonna eat up at the plastic. You want to use a PTFE. Now, even the fittings are different. As you guys can see, it comes with like a compression fitting. So this is what causes pressure in between the line, and I like this kind of PTFE over the regular AN6 lines because this is a little bit more safe, and then like I said, it's resistant, I guess, against the race fuels. So I'll show you guys. I saved this line for last just to kind of show you guys how easy it is. You put that fitting in, then you add the aluminum fitting. You make sure that the ring here lines up with the line in there. Install it just like that. So now all I gotta do is tighten it, and we're done. We're gonna go ahead and put this on right now, and I'll show you guys how I get my dimensions from the line. So when I cut them, they're perfect because you have little to no mistake as far as cutting when it comes to length. just because these lines don't play as much as regular lines, even though you do get some bend, as you guys can see. But yeah, I'll go ahead and tighten this up. So we got our line all tightened up on both sides. You guys do want to make sure you guys use AN fitting tool. That way you guys don't scrape your fittings, because you guys want it to look nice and clean, as if you never even touched it. A lot of people just use regular pliers and stuff, and you're gonna chew away at the black aluminum, and it's gonna look pretty ugly. So make sure you guys get some the AN fitting tool. About 25 bucks on Amazon, so not too bad. All right, so we have our line installed down there. If you guys can see, that return right in here. And this is what I was talking about, that you guys do not want to do, because you guys can see the difference in this fitting versus that fitting. That's how you want your fittings to look, not like this. What I do is I mount my fittings to where they're gonna go, and then you want to kind of measure your line from under this fitting here, about maybe a 1/4 inch. And then same thing, you mount your fitting, let's say here, and then you run up your line. So for example, this one, I would set it about right there, and then I'll tape it where I know I'm gonna cut, because you want to keep the braiding down. And then same thing over here. So like this one, I would cut, so let's just say, give or take, we're measured down there. I will set this one here, and then set my tape right like in here, right about a 1/4 inch under, and then you tape, and then you cut. The way I cut is I cut it with a Dremel, and it gives you a nice clean cut. And then you guys do want to use an air compressor, so you guys can blow any debris left inside the lines, because you guys will clog up your injectors. So I'll describe a little bit of the fittings. If you guys can't, if I don't describe this as good as I think I should, or you guys think I should have, if you guys go back to my old fuel video, I did a lot more explanation of what I did here up front. Now, I did use my OEM lines just because I didn't want to have to hang new lines. And my friend Brandon, we F shit up, he's the one that actually recommended keeping the factory tube line under the chassis, and then just go from the two ends, adapt. So for the small line, this is a part number. It's gonna be AN4 to male AN6. That's a part number. You'll need 2 of these, because you're adapting here, and then you're adapting in the back. I'll show a little bit more of what I did in the back. Here's the other one. This one is going to be a 5/16 to a AN6 male. And you'll need, like I said, 2 of these here, and then 2 of these AN4. That's going to adapt to the metal lines going back. Now for your fuel pressure regulator, which is, here's the part number one more time. You'll need to separately buy 3 AN ORB-6 to 6 male, because you're gonna need 2 for the fuel feed, and then 1 for the fuel return. And then as far as the fuel kit, you guys will need about 20 feet of line. And then I used 145 angle here, 190 right here, a 90 here, a 90 there, straight, and that's pretty much it. I do have new OEM hardware that I bought for my Hasport mounts, and I bought these bolts from Honda. I'll share the part number with you guys now while we're here. So these are the 3 bolts you'll need for the actual motor mount. Here's the part number. It's gonna be for this bolt right here. And then I used a total of 6 of these OEM factory nuts here that you'll need. 2 for this mount, 1 for this back mount, and then 1 for this mount, but I just bought an extra one just in case. And I'll show you guys the part number so you guys can have this beauty kit from Honda. No need to go with those shiny aftermarket bolts. These are way higher quality and you're getting what you're paying for. We also upgraded our suspension while we were at it. We got the Skunk 2 STs. Still have to tighten everything down. Actually, I still have to go over the whole entire car. Just double check all my bolts, suspension, swap bolts, just the whole car. I have to go over it one more time. Something I like to do anyway, just to double make sure that the car's gonna be safe. Got ourselves a fuel tank so we can start pumping gas into our fuel cell. And I think that's pretty much it up front. If I missed something, guys, just feel free to comment and we'll figure this thing out. So as far as interior, I'm not sure if I've showed this on YouTube just yet. We got SI rear seats from a coupe. Reason why we went with the seats is because when we go to the track, they're asking for a separation between the driver and the fuel tank. So instead of building this crazy monstrosity back here, we're gonna use the factory seats. And then in the front, went ahead and put 2000 Type R seats, American. Got an American Type R shift knob. We wired in our harness and ECU. Also, that's another part we upgraded, was our harness. We went with the Rywire harness. Had a good buddy of mine, Jay Lara, he hooked it up. You guys know how I like OEM, but can't go wrong with Rywire. I've always liked their harness. I've always liked their quality, so I couldn't pass it up. As you guys can see, it's already installed. What I really like about this tucked harness, you really can't tell the harness is installed. Really like that about their work. So that was one of the upgrades we did. Now for our fuel cell. We got a 10-gallon fuel cell from eBay. These things are about $100. Just real budget, nothing fancy. What I did do that you're supposed to do actually, that my friend, again, Brandon, we have shit up, told me that you're supposed to swap out the fuel foam, because the fuel foam that these come with is really cheap and it'll deteriorate. And these lids are actually kind of cheap too. They're good for regular 91, but they won't work for a higher octane fuel. So eventually we will swap this out for an aluminum one. I just haven't been able to find the one I want, so soon we'll get to it. Another thing we added to ours is a rollover fuel valve, which is considered a vent valve. Now this is a safety valve in case anything were to happen where the car rolls over or there's fuel slushing and there's fuel jumping up and down. This particular valve won't allow the fuel to come out. And if for whatever reason fuel does get past this particular valve, that's why I added the hoop there, because the fuel's gonna stay inside of this hoop versus leaking straight out. Now outside we have a filter that lets it vent, and that's my setup. Now on this side is just our return line, hooked up straight to our return right there. This is our wiring from the fuel pump, and that's our relay. So wired in the relay directly to power, and then got our pump wired into that. Also, when I bought the cell, they come with this blue. Swapped it out for a black one just to kind of make it look nice. I'll show you guys where I mounted my fuel filter. Can't really see too much. Comes out right there. Fuel filter right there. You will need to get a AN10 ORB to AN10 male fitting, because that's what we went with. AN10 line from the feed of the fuel cell to the fuel pump. This is where we have our fuel pump mounted, and lines going straight to the back. So there it is, guys. Just showed the picture of how I mounted the lines to the back that connect eventually up here to the front. I could have been a little bit more detailed on this video, guys, but like I said, I've been taking a little bit more time focusing on myself and my car, and just getting back to what I know, which is just going to work. I do apologize for all those guys waiting for these videos. Pretty soon we are going to start getting more detailed. It's just I had to focus. I had to think about what I was going to do with this car. There's a lot of money involved, so I just want to make the right choices for myself and the car and the way I'm building this car. So I am building myself up to finishing it off. The all-wheel drive is almost done. I can start the car right now if I want to and drive it. Axles are in. I don't know if you guys can see right there. All I'm waiting for is my flange so we can finish off the header and do our piping. We have to do our drive shaft and install our diff. So excuse the mess, I've been cleaning up around the garage. So here's our rear diff we're gonna be going with, the CRV differential. We got our upgraded clutch pack, and then we have a quick spool kit. These have a oil pump inside of them that helps it work when it goes into the all-wheel drive system. So we'll be upgrading that stuff. We'll be explaining that. Still have to install our rear trailing arms. Got new Brembo brakes for the back. So just working, guys. I have all the parts. We're actually building an engine for someone right now. That's taking some time. So but yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. What's next is actually the CRV diff. We're gonna be over to we're gonna be going over to our boy We Have Shit Up to get that done. While we're there, I will keep you guys updated so you guys can get an idea of what we're doing. And yeah, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think.